Is ace king the most overplayed hand in poker?
Yes. That and ace queen. All right, I'm all in.
You're all in?
Yeah, you're probably wondering how the guy that makes the Pocket Jack videos on TikTok is sitting across from PhilHellmuth playing poker.
Are you on TikTok?
No.
I see a lot of you on TikTok, but I didn't know if you were personally on there, so.
I don't have the exact answer of how this came to be, except for I can tell you that if you have a shot in life, go ahead and take it. I took mine, and somehow I'm sitting across from one of the greatest. What follows is not your average interview. There's a lot of awkward silences, questions go unanswered, and there is some questionable poker play. But it's 30 minutes of the coolest moment of my life.
Sitting here with the legend, Mr. PhilHellmuth, on probably the hardest card table to ever play poker on. Just came out actually a while ago with his book Positivity, which we're going to talk about here. So, in your book Positivity, you talk a lot about life goals. And I know one of your life goals is to be the greatest poker player of all time. Would you say that you're there?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people recognize I'm the greatest of all time, but not everybody. I think I was surprised when I looked it up at the internet, greatest poker player of all time, that I wasn't listed like in the top 5 or 10. I'm like, what the fuck? I have all the records in poker tournaments forever. It's harder to measure the cash games, right? But I've won millions of dollars in the cash games. Also, I won 30 out of my last 32 plays playing in mixed games, only because I lost the last 1 or 2. I was up at 30 in a row, crushing everybody. And in the tournaments, I've been, you look at the last 9 months, I had the best record by far of anybody. I think it's 14 top 9s or something. So I've kind of, so then, so that gives me, the chutzpah, the guts to say, all right, I'm still the greatest of all time today. But the all-time greatest of all time, I mean, there's only me and Doyle in the discussion. And, Phil Ivey, when he wins 3, 4 more bracelets, or maybe in 10 years, he will be the greatest of all time. But right now, it's me. Of course, Daniel Negreanu says otherwise. And that's okay. So, then I sound cocky when I say, oh, I'm the greatest of all time. But it's frustrating for me that people don't just say, wow, Phil is the greatest of all time right now. And a lot of people are saying that. I'm getting that from 99% of the world, but it's kind of frustrating for me that I have to say it myself. So then I look like an asshole. I'm the greatest of all time. And we're in the Midwest, so anytime I open my mouth, it seems like I'm cocky. I talk about my last stop, and people are like, oh, that's cocky. I talk like the people I hang out with. And so everything I say sounds cocky. It's kind of a weird life. I'll check.
So frustration, obviously something that you deal with in poker. Do you find that it's hard to stay positive? Like, you wrote the book Positivity, but obviously you get a little bit frustrated sometimes. Where do you draw the line? Like, by saying it's fine to get frustrated by playing poker, but I stay positive. I stay positive in my everyday life.
A lot of people think it's a paradox. Why is Phil, who, is the Poker Brat, why does he consider himself? Check.
I missed flush.
Why does he consider himself, Mr. Positivity? And it's a fair question, actually, right? I wrote a book, Positivity, and it's just 8 life tips. 8 life tips. And Tony Robbins tells people to buy my book in his advanced seminars. It's incredible. When I found that out, Tony Robbins, he's on my speed dial, I can text him. But for him to tell people to buy my book is what an honor that is in his advanced seminars. So Positivity was just this concept of 8 life tips. So yes, the table, I do get too frustrated, but my outlook away from the table is super positive. And I think the 8 life tips is going to help the world a lot. I had a vision that I could, help millions and millions of people. And you already look at the people that have watched me play poker, that I've inspired, people watch me and they see me fold hands that they're not capable of folding. And I watched, the best golfers in the world, Tiger Woods, hit shots no one else can hit. And I'm like, wow, that's the limit of what humans can do, and it's inspiring to me. So I'm folding hands that no one else on the planet was folding, and then I think people should look at that. I think people do look at it and they say, wow, I don't know how he did that, but that's the limit of what humans can do right now. And that's cool, right? And so I've always inspired people, but now, it was time to put the Life Tips book out.
When you wrote your book, you kind of made a pyramid, and there are parts on there about being healthy. There's parts on there about staying away from table games, and then you also mentioned staying away from drugs and staying away from excessive drinking. Is that something that you've actually? Has that been an issue for you, or is that just something?
No, I've been very lucky. Very lucky. Check. It was a very good card for you. So I did play too many table games when I was 21, and went through that. And I wouldn't say I was a compulsive gambler, but I was playing those games way too much. I enjoyed them. I made all this. I had no money. I made it all playing poker. And then when I was 21, I lost a lot. And by the time I was 22, I'm like, you know what? I just don't care about blackjack or craps or any of these games. Now these days I'll play more, but it's for entertainment. So, if I'm worth $50 million or $100 million or $30 million, whatever people think it is, for me to play 5 or 10,000 a table game is pretty meaningless. So now I started playing those games, but again, it's just, for me, it's like betting pennies,
What limit gets you going? Like, what is the minimum?
No limit gets me going. You're talking about like table games?
Yeah.
I mean, no limit gets me going. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why I'm happy playing small stake stuff.
What hand has cost you the most money?
Maybe pocket aces.
Pocket aces?
Yeah.
Is that just because it's hard to get away from?
Yes, 50.
Do you think, are pocket jacks a good or bad hand?
I like pocket jacks. Check.
I think a lot of people have trouble with jacks. I just have an ace. Oh. Scared me with the 50 when the straight came on the turn. Have you ever been close to quitting poker?
No.
No. What's been the toughest thing in your poker career?
I really don't know. I'd have to think about that for a while.
Yeah.
When you say toughest thing in your career, you're talking about a whole spectrum of possibilities, right?
Yeah. What has been the most mentally challenging thing about being a professional poker player?
You have to learn good money management, and so that took a while for me. Not too long, a while. Damn it.
Awful hand for me. Awful
All right,
hand.
I was looking for, hoping you'd raise it there. Sorry, what was the question?
Just, you were talking about money management and how that was kind of the toughest thing about getting started.
Yeah, I think people, no matter what they're into, they're not trained for money management, right? 30? They're not trained for money management. So, when you read books about it, the world's most successful people, when they're starting out, they find something they're great at, like a niche. We'll call it a niche. They're good at trading coupon bonds, like Ken Griffin. He was bought his first, $500,000 car when he was still in college, right? Now he runs Citadel. And so, but the toughest, so you can be great at something, you can accumulate a lot of money, but then
Just had a 5.
and a queen. So that's what happens, the average millionaire, or the average 10 millionaire has been, up to 3 or 4 million and back to 0, like 11 times, right? It's a crazy number. And so you're good at accumulating money, but you're not good at holding it. So it's important to learn that skill.
What do you think is the number one mistake that poker players make that keep them average?
Money management.
Money management, but at the table.
At the table, I don't know, but I'll just say that if you're a great money manager and your talent level's 50%, you have a really good life. But if your talent level's 99% and you're a bad money manager, sometimes you can't pay the bills. So
That's true.
10 more.
Do you still play online poker much?
I've been playing a lot of online poker.
Do you prefer, obviously, playing live over online?
I've made a lot of money. I've made, how much have I made? A couple $1 million playing online the last couple of years because of the pandemic. So I like it. I just don't play as much.
So too. Do you, since you do wager a solid amount of online poker, then do you ever get worried about the integrity of the game online?
Not in the games I play private games. So every game I play is a private game right now. That's going to change soon. I'm going to sign a deal with a pretty cool site, and it's going to be fun for me to kind of, be involved.
Sure.
And so. Raise 60 more.
Why didn't I just check it down? Should have just checked it down. All right, I'll call.
Flush.
Oh, can't even show you what I have. Can't even show you what I have. What is your favorite table game?
Again, I'm not a huge table game guy, but but I like. We've been having fun playing. Michael Phelps got me playing roulette.
Okay.
It's been fun. So I bet my wife's birthday. I bet my birthday. It's been fun.
Who's the best amateur poker player you've played?
Could be my best friend, Hellmuth Palihapitiya. Hellmuth's a hell of a player.
Favorite city other than Vegas to play poker?
Well, I mean, Palo Alto. I mean, my home game's great, but that probably doesn't count. Maybe, I don't know. I like LA. LA, there's a lot of fun games. I have a lot of friends there.
You think the Packers can win the Super Bowl this year?
Yes.
Yeah? I just have a queen.
Queen.
Yeah.
Ten plays. I also had a queen.
They got to open up the poker room back in Milwaukee. I was just out there and it's still closed. Do you think that with the cheating scandals that have kind of went on in poker, do you think those players should be barred from playing in like WSOP and?
It's very difficult. It's a case-by-case thing. I mean, I abhor cheaters. You know, that's, you know, we're old school poker players. We abhor the guys that are, we hate the guys that, you know, 35? We hate the guys that, oh, here comes a race.
Just call. $50. 200.
All right, you might have 7-8. I mean, that's a pretty good hand, though.
Check.
250.
I'm either getting crushed on this hand or I call. You have a 10?
Fuck. I should have just moved in on the turn. I had you crushed.
Oops.
That could have been the last hand.
It was,
If
that
a
was
blank
close.
comes.
I'm gonna check. 25.
Check.
I have a 3. Most frustrating moment of playing poker. The one that sticks out in your mind the most.
I mean, the main event, 1989. In 2001 was the most frustrating moment. I was playing 5-handed, and I thought Carlos Mortensen had Queen Jack, and I moved in with Queen 10. I knew he couldn't call, and Carlos says count. The dealer says call, and I flip my hand up. Carlos says he didn't see it, but it threw off all my vibe because I want to start talking to him, and like all of a sudden, and then he called and his hand held up and I finished 5th. And then, you know, there was a lot of pay jumps there too. If I just, you know, lasted a little while longer. I didn't have to last much longer. 10 more. Didn't have to last much longer for a lot of pay jumps. And they were, you know, I battled so hard. Fucking Phil Gordon, who I like, but when I say fucking Phil Gordon, I mean, I like him, but he had 6s and I had 9s, and we put in 600,000 each. He was all in, and he hit a 6 on me. And I just feel like 01 was the championship that I was supposed to win, and then they were going to put me right in the Hall of Fame earlier than anybody else, which would have been nice. So I found that out later. Phil, had you won, we were sticking you right into the Hall of Fame because what you've done is so phenomenal in poker. So that hurt, yeah.
What was the moment in your life that you knew that there's no going back? That you were
Well,
a legend?
yeah, the way you no going back sounds kind of weird.
I mean, you know, once you become a legend, it's tough to, I mean, you can't go back to being just a normal human, so.
Well, I mean, right now I advise 15 different companies, so I do a lot of stuff that's, you know, outside of poker.
Yep.
So I object to your phrasing,
Okay.
which I think is fair.
Was there a moment in your life that you knew your life was changing?
Yeah. I started beating a lot of the professionals. When I went to Vegas, I was like, wow, these guys aren't that good. All the pros I was playing with, it's a bunch of hometown champions. They're better than I am now. Maybe. But maybe I'm better than they are already, but I was like, wow, I'm going to pass all these guys very quickly. 10 more.
Tournament over cash every time?
No,
No?
I love cash games. I love playing with people I love. There's a lot of the top players in the world I like to play with. They're just good people and they're fun. And I don't know, I'd rather play in my home game with my crazy, friends. When I say crazy, I don't really mean crazy, but
Who's your favorite pro
crazy
to play?
rich, maybe I could say.
Who's your favorite pro to play?
King high.
You got it.
Favorite pro to play with? I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, none of them?
No,
I'm just kidding.
No, I think the opposite. I like playing at the World Series of Poker with a lot of the pros. They're bright people, generally really good people, fun people, and I like playing with them.
So you posted a funny video after you busted out of the main event of you kind of sitting by a pool, just like going through it not going through it emotionally, but just dealing with the loss. How do you deal with losses, and how long does it take you to get over it? $50.
I had a feeling if a 10 popped off, I was going to bust you.
But does it get easier, I guess, dealing with the variance? Sometimes when I lose out of a poker tournament, it takes me like a week to get over it. Is it a bad beat or?
It took me, when I finished second, like 3 weeks ago or whatever, it took me, I was still waking up 17 days later thinking, whoa, why did you do this? Why didn't you do this? It's not easy to get over, no. It's not, especially for me. I still think back to the last event I played in Vegas and how I had queens and I got the guy to put it on with an ace-jack, and I was just so happy. I limped with queens, and as I limped under the gun, we had 35 left. And I said, sometimes I limp really strong. Yeah, well, I had queens. The guy behind moved in. It was great. He moved in for 200. I limped for 25,000. And the other guy starts studying. He's like, how much do you have left? He has a 300. I said, more. I knew I had exactly 400,000. And if he would have asked for a number, I would have told him. But I said more. And he's studying, and I'm like, this is great for me because he would have moved in with ace-king, maybe with ace-queen. He has to have jacks, tens, or nines. This is great for me. Just shut up. Try to act weak. And he moved in, and I snapped him, and it was king-queen for 200K, and I had 400 exactly. And he had ace-jack, and he had a jack, and I was just like, it felt so unfair to me. That was my last hand at the series.
50. What's one piece of advice you'd give anybody? Not just a poker player, but anybody in life.
It would come from my book, Positivity. I would say that hate hurts you. I would tell people not to hate anybody, to get rid of the hate in their lives. And they can use that energy for something else. I would give them a 3-step technique for getting rid of hate. I would say, think of the person you hate the most. And I would ask yourself why you hate that person. Oftentimes there's a good reason why.
I don't have a club. I just have yeah, that'll do it. What's the third one?
Then what you do is you go to your bedroom. You make sure it's quiet. You make sure you're not going to be disturbed. And you lie down on your bed and you close your eyes with your hands at your side. and you start thinking about the person you hate the most in the world, and you start sending them love. It's the most unnatural thing you've ever done. It's like, it's hard to even do. You start sending that person love. And I've done it, you know, for the 3 people that I used to not like a lot or hate. How much?
30 total. 35 total. Did somebody teach you that process, or was that something that you came up with on your own?
Kind of, I mean, partly I took it from when my wife and I studied Buddhism, but it's kind of my own technique. But it's helped a lot of people that have read my book. And so then while you're there sending love to the person you hate the most, then you're also sending it to the people that you might as well just send it to the people that you actually love. And then next time, the science behind it is simple. The next time you see that person that you used to hate now, you're looking at them a little bit differently. Your eyes are a little bit different. Like they expect you to be glaring at them with hate. And you're looking at them differently, and they're going to respond differently. So some people are like, oh, it's just the fact you sent them love that did it. But if you just look at the science, you've just changed a relationship that, you know, was purely negative to a relationship where... So I've seen it in action. I remember running into one of the people afterwards, and he was just, the person treated me completely differently. I was like, this is just bizarre, you know?
Does anybody ever make you hate them and you realize I have to go send love to this person and it's like kind of frustrating, like in the moment? Or is it, I don't know if that makes sense, but just when somebody wrongs you, do you realize you're going to have to
I raised 55.
55?
Whoa.
55 more, right? That's
He wanted to re-raise me. What's going on here?
thought about it.
Check. 100.
Either you've got me crushed or you want to be done. Maybe it's both. Oh, wow, okay. All right. Nice hand. Where's the ace? Ace magnets, you know?
You already had an ace when I had queens. Right?
I did. What's your favorite hand in poker? Favorite starting hand that's not aces or kings?
You know, 10-8 suited I used to like a lot. 20.
60. $100. So 10-8. Your least favorite hand, pocket aces.
I don't really have a least favorite hand.
Yeah, I mean it's hard
To be honest.
hard to hate aces.
I love aces.
Love them, but they've hurt you.
I'm not sure that that's saying I've lost the most with. I mean, probably because it's just a hand you can't get away from.
Yeah.
You know, on a lot of flops. So it was just a guess.
If you had advice for one starting person that's just starting.
Blinds are up 10-20.
Yeah, we can do it 10-20.
I like that.
Yeah. Get the action going. If you had advice for one person starting poker, what would it be?
That's a good question. I don't know. 20?
Jeez.
Game over if you had an ace there.
Yeah. Is ace king the most overplayed hand in poker?
Yes. That and ace queen.
Let's do 50 more.
Wow. All right, I'm all in.
You're all in? I have to fold. I can't call with this.
I had pocket tens.
Pocket tens were good. Pocket tens were good.
I thought, oh, maybe you want to just give me the match. I don't know. Some people do. I have 2 sevens. I can't fold. Okay, don't
Yeah.
fold.
Yeah. Outside of Hold'em, what is your favorite style of poker?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that Hold'em is my favorite form of poker.
What competes?
I like triple draw, deuce to 7. I like deuce to 7 no limit. I like
60.
Omaha 8 or better. I like a lot of games, you know.
What do you think of the new setup at the World Series of Poker?
Loved it. You know, for me, I think that I've spent my whole life studying these games. So right now, I think if you look at who's the best all-around player in the world, in tournaments, I think it might be me, but it's certainly not far. If it's not me, I'm second or third. And so, no, that could change. That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, next time I play, maybe $200. Like I said, I sound cocky, but I had top 9 finishes in the last World Series, despite being sick for a week. No one else has that, and that's in non-Hold'em games. So I'm just getting there more than everybody else in all these mixed games. It feels good, you know, because I've spent my entire life studying them.
So, top 3 players out there right now that are not you.
It's a good question. I don't know really how to answer it. Obviously, Sean Deeb is really good. Phil Abbey's a phenomenal player. This year he was back at the World Series trying 50.
Do you play sports bets still?
20. Yeah, small stakes, so.
Favorite sport to bet on?
NFL.
NFL?
Yeah. I like, I have my own little show called The Good, the Bad, the Hellmuth, where we're doing a lot of sports betting. I told everybody to bet the Warriors at 9-1. If you've followed me the last few years, you've made a lot of money. Because I'm really good with my first NFL pick, the one I publish. Now, I haven't done as well with my second and third picks, but my first pick's been pretty good. So anybody that's betting what I told them to bet, and I've been NFL totals are my biggest bets of the year. That's where I'll bet 10 or 20,000. I have not had a losing season ever. I started when Peyton Manning went to Denver, and the line was 8 plus $1.50, and Tim Tebow had just won 8 games. And I'm like, what the fuck? They're just giving money away plus $1.50. So I made a huge sports bet, and of course, Peyton Manning killed it, 40. And then every year, something on the board stands out. And so I'll study. So to me, that's the most fun, because then you have a bet all year. And since I've won every year, I've started to bet more and more and more. It's really incredible. But again, there's always something. Last year we liked Atlanta. We liked Atlanta when they were at 5. And I told some friends, and next thing they were at 6, next thing I know they were at 7. So we ended up getting a bet in at 6 and breaking even, I think it was. But
Who's your bet to win the Super Bowl this year?
we haven't put any bets out yet. I'm looking at a lot of different.
If you had to describe poker in one word to somebody that didn't know what it was.
Art. It's a real art. I mean, you can study art. You know, you have all these guys that try to break art down with computers. They try to break down poker with computers. They can only go so far. They don't understand me. That's my biggest skill. They don't understand what I'm doing. It's crazy to me. So they're like, oh, well, Phil's not that good. Because they don't understand why 75.
They don't understand.
Where you have a diamond draw? I better bluff at this one.
I'm all in.
Wow. Nice hit. Yeah. Thought maybe you flopped something there.
I feel like it's impossible for me to go all in without you thinking I have the nuts, because why would I want, why would I want it to beat over? I'm just kidding, but.
Well, when you check the flop, I'm like, wow, he smashed his flop maybe, but then I hit an 8. I had top pair. Can't get away.
100.
You might as well. I mean, you just raised with deuce 5 and flopped a straight.
Check.
100.
Check.
50.
Oh. Go 100.
Flopped another 5.
6 this time. 6.
I would have played heads up with Phil for the next 2 hours, but unfortunately I only had 30 minutes. As quickly as Phil arrived, he disappeared, leaving only this video and the 30 minutes that I had playing heads up against one of the greatest.
You have the lead.
Well, yeah, but
I had you beat the whole time until 3 hands ago.